Otherwise, you can tune in at 10 KTN News, or I think even KTN Home will be able to hear the debate amongst engineers, esteemed engineers, Engineer Nathaniel Matalanga, Engineer Howard Mai, Engineer Peter Olo Okaka, and representing us, our very own Engineer Mutulili. We wish all of them the very best of health and the very best of leadership skills. Back to our guest, Engineer Grace Muroni KAGONDU. She had been sharing with us some of her insight on manifesto, and we know she's a passionate, she's trusted. Can we trust her with the leadership at IEK? That is on voters to decide. And she is committed, having interacted with her somehow. I know she's committed to what she puts her mind and energy to. She had shared with us some of what she wants to do, her vision, and I think having served in AAK, she has leadership skills that she can bring in to IEK. And what captured me mostly is the 360-degree mentorship and the last part where she wants to enrich IEK with e-resources and diaspora outreach. This is a thorny question for me because I would really like to know how she wants to reach diaspora and how the diaspora engineers of Kenya can really chip in to ensure that the society is well catered for, and that is really, really wonderful. Engineer, you are back. You can turn on the mic. Right. Yes. Now we can see you. Now we have some questions, and I really want us to finish the questions. Then we can wait to tune in to KTN News to hear the debates. Okay. So my first question, as I will just a minute. You will finish. I think you have the last part, which members can see from the poster.
Okay.
And I would just want us to start with the question as you elaborate on it. How are you going to ensure diaspora outreach, or rather the Kenyan engineer who are in diaspora? How are you going to tap their potential and ability and the knowledge they've earned outside there to enrich IEK? Diana, then you take over.
Yes. Okay. Can I answer?
To add on to that, even to the, I'm imagining diaspora also means, like, this doesn't mean diaspora, but even the marginalized communities, like in the northeastern side of Kenya, do we have engineers from there? Do we have chapters there? In the northern side, Turkana, also engineers with disabilities, and also engineers like, yes, especially that, because there's a whole gap in bringing the marginalized communities in engineering. Yes. Thank you.
Yes, I agree with that. Yes, I totally agree with that. Once you're an engineer, you automatically qualify to be a member of this family of IEK. That's my number one belief. So, and who are the members who are the people who qualify in engineering? These are the graduates and also the professional engineers, which means we must be able to know the engineers who are leaving our universities. That means we need to have networks with all the universities where we do engineering. We must have a connection with the UON, KU, JKUAT, Moi, and Dedan Kimathi University, and all the universities which are having engineers graduating. And the moment that we need to be proactive, we need to be proactive. When students graduate from universities, that database should automatically come to we should automatically get it. We should pursue it and get the list of engineers, and then encourage them to join IEK. Yes.
Gali and twins.
Yeah.
You have Kunde? Anand. Okay.
Hello, can you hear me?
Engineer Tony, you can mute your microphone. And the yes, now we can go ahead. Please go ahead.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, we should be having such network so that we can get the database of all these universities. And if you are digitized, getting that database should be very, very easy. And at the same time, when the students are leaving the university, we should be able to have an outreach to them whereby those who graduate automatically can fill in the information, and that information be accessible to the IEK Secretariat, so that those who are interested can then join in, can then go through the process of becoming members. Of course, we can't force them, but we will tell them the benefits of being members, and then we expect them that to encourage them to become members. And so by so doing, we'll be able to reach students from wherever they are, not only just Nairobi, wherever they are. And those that happen to go abroad, we shall encourage them that if you are studied in Kenya, by the time you're going abroad, you leave your credentials with the Secretariat, so that wherever you are, we have got your contacts. We can still be in touch. We know what you're doing. We know how you're, the areas in which you're increasing your capacities, and we're able to trace that this person is specializing in this particular area, in chemical engineering. There's some areas of engineering which we can't even get locally. So those particular areas, we should make sure we are able to track, and we know that these people, when they come back to Kenya, they will be able to enrich our society in these particular areas of specializations. And those are the people whom we can even use when you're doing our continuous development programs, our mentorship, where they can become very, very resourceful members of IEK. So, and that can only work very well on the platform of digitization, because technology is the only way in which we can get all these people, whether they are abroad or they are in Northeastern or wherever. It will not matter. Distance is nothing with technology. Yeah, I think we agree with me that way. Hello? Hello?
Yes, engineer. Now
Yes.
I'd love to call upon anyone with a question to ask. Members, please go ahead. Cindy, you have a question? Okay, members are welcome to ask a question or give a comment. Engineer Otwani, Mwenda.
I have a question as usual. We had asked Engineer Otwani a question.
He's here. Okay.
I have a question for Engineer. Engineer,
Yes.
you have been representing engineers in AAK, right?
Yes, yes.
What do you think about people who are saying that there will be conflict of interest, that now that there are documents and that makes engineers look, make architects look down upon engineers? They are shortchanging engineers in the sites. For example, there's a document that is there that is putting an architect above an engineer who is actually the main person on issues of design and all that.
Mm-hmm. Okay. First of all, I want to assure you this. When we are discussing with all our professionals, colleagues in AAK, we discuss as equals. We don't discuss as what can you say, as one is above the other or nothing. We have there are 7 different chapters in AAK, and all of them are autonomous, and they don't have any, there's none which is superior to the other or takes control of the other. They're all autonomous, and they run their affairs completely autonomously. So in a case where we've got this, I think this is referring to the Joint Building Council, Joint Building Construction and contract that came out recently. I must say members have expressed the way that they are not happy with the provisions of those conditions of contract. And I don't think that you're obliged to accept that it is okay simply because the document says so. We have every right to still, in fact, now that as AAK being the stronger body for engineers, we can actually still put our concerns and bring them still for discussion with AAK. Yeah, because as professionals, we respect each other, and it's all about dialogue. I don't think we can talk about conflict of interest or anything like that. It does not arise. It's a matter of It's a matter of, I am a professional, you are a professional, I am doing, I'm contributing in this manner, you're contributing in that manner. And there's not a question of who is inferior or the other. I mean, I don't think that kind of argument can wash. So I think, I hope I'm very clear about that. Hello?
Yes, you are. Engineer Otwani, I saw you unmute your microphone. You have a question?
It is just a comment.
Yes.
Yes, please go ahead.
That you know, Engineer Grace was our president before the current president.
Yes. Yes.
And she did a very good job there. I think when it comes to issues of gender mainstreaming, I appeal to the voters to give a chance to be part of that council. She's done a great job. And I like to appreciate people who do a great job. Just the way I appreciated Kiteme in the last, during my webinar. I also appreciate her for the good job she's done for AEK. And there's a lot that we can take from AEK into IEK. And that is why we're seeking to be part of IEK, so that the great ideas of communication, the great ideas of advocacy, you can see even a document that is being talked about, the vibrancy that was involved. So we want to take that vibrancy into IEK so that we can be able to drive the IEK agenda to greater heights.
I totally agree. It's when you talk about vibrancy, it means being able to express yourself in terms of what you believe is the right thing to do. I think in this particular document, it was just unfortunate that the document doesn't seem to have gone into the domain of the IEK members. Perhaps it was not shared with the leadership with IEK. Because then if it was, of course, because of the communication protocol, that's the way things are done, the document would have been shared on the IEK platform, and the IEK platform would have shared with all the members. Then they would have given that feedback back to the, to the stakeholders. But I don't think that the IEK members were involved in those discussions. And that's very unfortunate, but it does not mean that we cannot still discuss it any further. And I also want to just bring out another aspect, that in as far as being a leadership in AEK Engineers chapter, I think I want to be clarified that when you're a leader in that chapter, you're talking about engineers in general. We're not talking about engineers, these particular engineers or that particular engineers, because the issues affecting engineers are cross-cutting. In fact, some of the things we discussed in that forum are basically things that are trickling down from the discussions at IEK. We're wondering what's our contribution, how can we give our, our input in this and this area. So when we are talking about opportunities for engineers, we're talking about engineers, all engineers. And by the way, for you to become a member of the engineers chapter, you need, number one, to be a member of IEK. So the first loyalty is to IEK, and then the chapter becomes a place where we now discuss specifically things to do with that profession in that particular forum. Yes, so thank you very much, Engineer Otwani. I do think that maybe I can just take this opportunity to share with you some of the things that you are able to do within AEK, which are beneficial to all engineers, IEK, and wherever. One of them was the issue of the CPD policy. Even before you remember that the engineers did not have a CPD policy to guide their training for quite a long time. I think it was launched in 2017. So one of the things we realized within AEK is that the other chapters within AEK would have events, and the members would get CPD points. We would run our events, which they would also participate, because we invite everyone to participate in our CPD events. They would participate in our events. They would earn CPD points, but our members would not get CPD points because we do not have a CPD policy. So what did we do? I remember I had to write to the registrar, EBK, and try to to sort of lay down the what can I say, the discussions that it's high time we had a CPD policy which can guide engineers to get CPD points when they go for training. And we kept on discussing, and we ran many. I think we ran about 3 CPD events, and our members did not get points. But we did not give up. We kept on knocking on their door. We kept on discussing, and he told me that, oh yes, we are now coming up with a policy, and we are going to share it out. And the discussions went on, and we were very, very delighted when eventually the CPD policy was released, and all the members were able to take it up and now start implementing the policy. I think that was a very, it's just an example of what I mean by advocacy. When you're talking about advocacy, the advocacy is to benefit engineers. It's not about, this particular engineer, not the other engineer. I mean, that does not arise, because we are all engineers at the end of the day in this particular society. And another thing I want to maybe take this advantage to mention is that when it comes to advocacy, we really need to come together. Our numbers, we are still relatively not as many as perhaps the other professionals. I think we have to agree. Our area is specialized, so the numbers who come out of the universities, our numbers are not many. So we need to really come together. We really need to discuss and talk in one voice, because that way we get heard. Yeah, that's one thing I want to just say, that when it comes to advocacy, we need to come together, group up in numbers, take our points, do our homework, and be prepared to stick to one position and follow it to the very end. That is the way we can succeed in all the areas that we are trying to pursue with the policy makers. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Otherwise, thank you very much, Engineer Otwani, for those kind remarks.
Most welcome.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're still going on with the question time and comments time. Any other participant in the house who has a question or a comment to Engineer Grace?
The bullying Dolo has a question.
Okay, bullying doll.
Now, Engineer, are you satisfied with the CBD policy that is at IEK and EBK?
Okay, I am talking about a CPD policy in EBK. I think it's one and the same, because I believe the IEK policy is it's more or less a reflection of the one at the EBK.
Yes.
There has been a lot of. I remember participating, as you can hear. I was very, very interested in matters to do with the CPD policy, and I participated in almost all the workshops that were coming up as it was being discussed. And I remember members were very, very concerned about the number of points that they were required to have, and whether they could be able to afford participating in, whether they could afford to earn the number of points required per year. I think, all those discussions were held, and there was a lot of concern because even employers were saying, members were saying, supposing the employer cannot sponsor you for this course, will it mean I'll not qualify? There was a lot of concern. And that is why affordable and quality CPD events is such an important agenda in my pillar. We must be able to have CPD events which are affordable for graduate engineers, for senior engineers, for all cadres of engineers. You must be able to, it must be realistically possible for you to get the number of points that you need to get at the end of the year, depending on the category that you are, whether you're a graduate engineer, whether you're or a professional engineer. And I also want to emphasize that it is possible to have quality CPD events which don't, which don't, we don't break the bank, which are affordable. It is possible. We've done it in the past. We did it. What it required is being very creative. We got partnerships with our some of the people our partners, sponsors. They were able to sponsor our events, and we were able to actually run a very good quality CPD program. I can tell you that we ran in some of the very good establishments in Serena, in Intercontinental, in Mayfair, and members were given, very good facilities in terms of meals, in terms of the accommodation, in terms of the, the room itself, the stationery. Even the facilitators, first-class facilitators, were able to come and participate in those CPD events. This, I can tell you, all those particular CPD events, we were able to run them at no cost to the members at that point in time, because we were able to fundraise. So fundraising is also very, very important in terms of making CPD programs affordable. You can fundraise in many ways, from sponsors, from I've had people suggesting even from the subscriptions and so on. I mean, there are ways in which you can make CPD points affordable, because remember, we are a members association. We are here to make life easier for members. I think we should never lose track of that. Yeah, thank you very much. I hope I've answered your question.
Someone, yeah, Ndolo, your question is answered. So as Ndolo unmutes, so Kongo is asking,
Yes.
highlight the measurable deliverables for your first 100 days in the council. Highlight the measurable deliverables for your first 100 days in the council.
First 100 days, you know, one of the, if you look at my 7 points, the last one, the point number 6 was leveraging on networks, you know, which are the professional bodies, the UPSEA, universities, academia, and all those places, so that we can get mentorship opportunities and scholarship opportunities. And the point number 7 was on digitization. And the reason why I put digitization at the bottom is because it's the easiest for us as engineers to implement. When we are technical people, we have got very brilliant minds. We have got young graduates who are, you know, very chap with matters to do with digitization. So that is the digitization platform. I think it is something that we can be able to achieve within give and take the time for, I don't know the program for. No, I'm not sure. I may not know how the secretariat works, but if I was asked, it's something that we should be able to do within a month, really, with the kind of brilliant people we have in the fraternity, so that we can be able to immediately start having very excellent services. We can start giving our members. We should start being able to collect, enriching our platform. And the platform that we need to develop at that level should be very user friendly, so that members can easily interact with the secretariat, without a lot of difficulty, without requiring a lot of training. So give and take the operational mechanisms at the secretariat. I would want to say that digitization is something that we can do within a month to 90 days, and by digitization, we should also use that platform to establish linkages with very important partners. We have got the Kenya Building Research Center. They have a lot of research material that we can bring on board. We can have a linkage with IBK, so that when you go into the website, you can automatically just link into IBK and all the technical universities. Like I said, also the diaspora, which, people who are out there, so that we can also be able to facilitate research. Remember, some of the policy papers we shall be preparing for advocacy need to be backed by very good research. So you can only do a very good research if our e-resources on our platforms are very rich. Yeah, so that is something that we need to give priority, because it's going to be the foundation of all the other activities that we are going to do. So I would want to give that priority to do that within 30 to 90 days. In terms of affordable quality CPD events, I think that is something that we can arrange. We should be able to have very good quality CPD events, not less than 4 of them in a year. I would say that. I think that is quite doable. And I'm saying that confidently, because given the limited resources we had at IEK, because IEK we were a very small, the membership is not as big, we were able to have two very good quality events. So I think with IEK being the numbers we have, the resources we have, we should be able to have not less than 4 CPD quality events. And I'm using the word quality, very good quality, where members can come. They don't have to spend you don't have to spend a week. I've noticed engineers don't like programs that run for a week. They like probably a day, 2 days, 3 days, and so on. So we should be able to have very rich programs which run within even 3 days, and the content is, is properly packaged and very rich. And we should be able to have those in at least 4 of them in a year, like I said. The mentorship program, of course, this is something that should start immediately, and it's likely to be a running program. We need to get a database of all, we need to get a portfolio of all our members, so that we can know, and even ask members who is willing to mentor. You'll be surprised, people are willing to share what they have. so that we can be able to categorize the kind of skills that we have. We can be able to categorize in terms of, in this particular area of specialization, we have got Grace and Dolo and Diana. These areas, we can always get them for this area. You know, we can be able to categorize all the skills that we have. And then when it comes to mentorship, we are able to pair without a lot of difficulty. So
All right.
To me, sorry, as you can see, I'm getting very excited by all this.
Yeah, and I have a question towards that.
Yes.
Do you know that EBK has a mentorship program?
Yes, I know it has. And
have you signed up for it?
No, I have not signed up for it.
Then how are you going to increase the numbers of members at IEK? Because for us to have a strong institution, we need a strong numbers of members. And we know more than 16,000 graduate engineers are hanging outside. They have not even joined IEK. So how are you planning to improve the numbers at IEK with the mentorship program that is already there at Engineers Board of Kenya?
I don't know whether I'm getting you.
I'm saying for graduate engineers to know that the existence of IEK, they must get the mentorship program. Already EBK has a mentorship program where they are calling on professional engineers to sign up so that they can mentor graduate engineers for a minimum of 2 years. Now, most graduate engineers don't go to IEK because they don't know the benefits of joining IEK.
Okay.
And if you are a mentor, you will be able to explain to them the meaning and the advantages of IEK.
Yes.
Now, how are you going to mentor more graduate engineers and show them the benefit of IEK so that we build the numbers at IEK?
Yeah. Oh, okay. I think that's a very good question, because basically what you're talking about is facilitating the transition, you know, from graduate engineers to professional engineers. More or less, that's what you're asking, isn't it? Yeah, I think that's what you're asking. I think the IEK should be able to have actually a stronger mentorship program than even the EBK, because one thing that has become very clear is that the capacity also of EBK. I think they talked about having 40, and they've done 40. I don't know whether they've been able to do others, or how the plans are proceeding. But clearly, the capacity within EBK may not be adequate for the kind of numbers we are getting from the universities. And this is where IEK is actually better positioned to do a mentorship program than EBK, if you ask me, because we can be able to get. We can be able to get, you know, like what I'm trying to say, we can be able to get the numbers who are coming to the universities. We can reach out to the universities and tell them, and that is something that I used to do previously. You go to the university, you sensitize the students about the institution and tell them, join this, join IEK, and you'll be able to get mentorship in this particular area. Because by the time you realize, by the time one is leaving the university, you don't actually know which area you want to specialize in. In an area like ours, civil engineering, you know, you can go into structures, you can go into highways, you can go into water, you can go into all kinds of things. So you need some kind of mentorship even at the university, so that you can start having an idea of which direction you want your career to take. And once you have already indicated where your career wants to take towards the end of your studies at university, once you come over to IEK, we are able to match you with the area of interest that you want to go. You know that, for example, Engineer Grace KAGONDU is a structural engineer. How many of these people want to do structural engineer? How many can she mentor? And then you know, you have that kind of a matching or a mapping. And those who are interested in that particular area, you can mentor them according to the laid down structure of mentorship, which we have to make sure that it is well aligned to the EBK mentorship program, because that is, of course, where they're the regulator. So you have to make sure that the mentorship program that IEK is following is actually a mirror of what the EBK is doing. Yeah, so to me, mentorship has to start. We don't start mentorship when they've already, you know, when they've left university. You have to start mentorship in that final year at the university. They actually really need it. My interaction with the students is that is where they need the mentorship. That's where they need the guidance. They don't have to step out, and then at the point when they're out there, is then they're wondering, now what next? Where do we go? You know, how do we start it? it's actually very complex and very, and it's very, for a young graduate, it's very disconcerting. It's much, much better, as you can imagine, to have a very good idea of the next steps, even as you're still in universities. You know, from here, I am going to step out, I'm going to go here, and, you know, it's very clear cut. I think that's the kind of support we need to give our students. Yes.
Thank you, Engineer, for that.
Yes.
Cynthia, you have a question?
Mine is a comment.
Yes.
Not a question. Engineer, I'm glad you've offered your candidature in these elections.
Yes.
When I look at your 360-degree agenda,
yes,
I've seen you do it when I was a student, and even on mentorship, Ndolo, I can attest to her championing for mentorship for students from the university and even after. So that's. I hope you win. I hope you get into IEK and you continue doing the good job that you've done before.
I've been doing. I'm very, very passionate about that, by the way. So when I do it because I know the value that it does, the difference it makes to that person, to that graduate engineer. We don't need to leave the university and start floundering around and wondering what to do next. You need to have a very clear idea of where you're going. Don't you think so? Yeah, I think it will make a very difference. So I'm very, very passionate about that, and I hope I do. I appreciate your good sentiments, and I do hope that that members will give me a chance to bring those ideas on board at IEK.
Thank you, Engineer, for that input, and
yes.
we hope that all will be as per your heart's desire, and the Lord grants you that. We will really want to have more mentorship programs, and I know with the strong knowledge and leadership skill that you already acquired at IEK
and APSIA, yes.
Yeah, we will be able to reach better places, and with you at the top with the other bright minds at IEK. Any other question, members? I think, Engineer, you've really done us a great honor by agreeing to be in this platform, and I know it's already time is 9, and members are really agitated, waiting for the 4 top guys who are going to appear at KTN News. So, with no much ado, I would.
Can I give my parting shot to my members?
Yes, that's what I'm about to ask you to do.
Okay, thank you. Okay, yeah, thank you very much, Engineer Ndolo and Diana again for giving us this platform. I would like to request all our esteemed engineers to kindly vote for me in the upcoming elections on Monday. As I mentioned before, I am vying for ordinary council member 2020-2022 because I believe that is where most of the work is, and I want to actually do the work at the council. I can assure you that I'm very passionate, I'm trustworthy, and I'm very committed to your aspirations. I have been privileged to serve engineers in the past, and I am really taking this opportunity to seek your mandate to be able to bring all that experience to bear fruit for the members of IEK. And I want to urge the IEK, the electorate and the members of the engineers, let us purpose to make IEK, and we know it can be, let us purpose to make IEK the special purpose vehicle to propel us to the height that we know that we can get to. We know that we have not been reaching the potential, and it is simply because the time, maybe the time was not yet, but this is the time. Let us use this particular opportunity to propel ourselves to the greatest height in terms of our careers, in terms of our job prospects, in terms of our finances, local and national leadership, and most of all, colleagues, in serving our country, our community, and of course, our beloved country of Kenya. And with that, Engineer Ndolo and Diana, I think I don't have anything more to say. I hope members will vote for me on Monday. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Engineer Grace KAGONDU. And As you go outside there, I know you are a motherly figure, an engineer with great potential, and I know many members look at you and try aspire to be at least a half of what you already are.
Thank you.
So at this juncture, I would just continue to advise the public and engineers in general, keep safe, try to keep sanitizers work, but ensure that your hands, whenever you go out in public, come back and wash them. Use water and soap. Sanitizers can help, but what if they're in shortage? In Kenya, we know our situation. Kindly just practice personal hygiene, the very best level, so that you can protect the public in general. Otherwise,
And
Diana?
By the way, let me just mention to you, I came across somebody who has a lot of sanitizers. So Diana and engineer, if you know anyone who's having a problem with sanitizers, let me know. I can connect them.
Thank you, engineer. For
well
that
noted. Thank you.
Well noted.
Yes.
That is within the vicinity of Nairobi.
Yes.
All right. Well noted.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Especially engineers. We want to protect all our engineers. We need them.
All right. Thank you for that. Otherwise, Diana, have anything?
Yeah, thank you, Engineer Grace, for your time and your vibrance as usual. Definitely wishing you all the best in the campaigns, and please don't lose that vibrance when you get into the council. That is within 3 days from now.
Yes.
And yes, thank you to all the members that joined. Thank you, Engineer Ndolo, for hosting this with me. And yes, wishing you all the best. Have a nice evening. Let's all tune to the president's debate in less than 40 minutes.
Okay,
Ndolo?
thank you very much and good night.
Thank you, engineer. Thank you, engineer.
Good night.
Good night. Just a reminder, we had Grace as our guest, and we are ending this meeting. We hope to meet at KTN News when we'll be having our guest, Nathaniel Matolanga, Howard Mai, Peter Okaka, and Jane Mutulili. I hope everybody come out and listen to them, and come that day. May we have at least a lady president at IEK. We have many presidents in Kenya. What about a lady president at IEK? All the best, everybody. Good night.
Good night.